I'll tell you what, I received some feedback overnight on that exclusive story we brought you featuring the Central Coast Council in New South Wales, which has refused to hang Australian flags along the main street of Yamina Beach for Australia Day. This is despite proudly flying the flags in previous years, mind you. Viewer Paul was a classic. He wrote, "How absolutely absurd. Which country do you live in? You should all be sacked immediately. I am so angry and disgusted," from a proud Australian. And as we were told last night with the council in administration, the decision not to offend some ratepayers, would you believe, was made not by an elected council, but a council public servant.
This is really disturbing because it's not a decision that's made by elected officials, as it would have been in the past. This is a decision made by bureaucrats. And I get a little bit offended by that because they don't represent us.
No.
We pay them to do a job. So they should represent us and do our bidding, but they're not.
Well, today, surprise, surprise, more evidence of other local councils squibbing it for Australia Day, with allegations of events being cancelled for tomorrow on the basis of the current COVID situation. Now, there are very few restrictions on crowds and events in New South Wales at the moment, and yet several councils have pulled the plug on traditional celebrations. One mayor who's been highly critical of some of these cancellations is Khal Asfour from Canterbury-Bankstown. He joins us right now. Khal, I'm so glad that you brought this up and are willing to talk about this. The Inner West Council, which is a notoriously green and un-Australian council, they just hate Australia Day on January 26. I didn't know that was part of their charter, a local council deciding which national days are holidays.
Look, I'm not here to speak for other councils, Chris. Good evening. But I'm here to talk about Canterbury-Bankstown, and I can tell you that we see Australia Day as a celebration of who we are as a wonderful country, a democratic country, a place where we celebrate harmony, and we'll be having events to celebrate Australia Day tomorrow.
What have you got on tomorrow?
Oh, we got pool parties and we spread them out across the city. So we're at 4 pools, free entry, a lot of activity. We've got DJs, we've got, a lot of water activities and so on. And, encouraging all our residents to come along and celebrate what a wonderful day Australia Day is. Now, I'm not, ignoring the fact that there are many in our community and across the country that feel, and, a growing number of people are feeling that we need to pay tribute or pay respects to our Aboriginal people, and they see it as Invasion Day or as Survival Day. I mean, I get that, and I know there is a growing sentiment, but the reality is councils don't choose Australia Day. The 26th of January has been around, I think, since the 40s as Australia Day, and we'll continue to celebrate it. But it's a matter for the federal parliament, I think, to make a decision on when the day is. For me, it's not, I don't see it as a day when European settlement came here, even though that's the day it sort of remarks it. But it is the day for me that we celebrate who we are as a free country, a multicultural country, thousands of people, different faiths being practiced here, different cultures being practiced here, but we're all one. And I think that's what's important. And that's what we're aiming to celebrate tomorrow, along with our citizenship ceremony and our local Australia Day awards as well.
It's interesting you say that as a new Australian in your life, because multicultural Australia probably began when the First Fleet arrived, because all of a sudden we had more than one culture. I want to raise, just so viewers know, we've got 2 Western Sydney councils, Blacktown and Campbelltown, that have cancelled all kinds of events, and they say that these events can't be held because of COVID. 1, can you understand that? And 2, there are ways around setting up events. You'd know that only too well.
Look, I know that the health and safety of our communities are number 1 priority for all councils, for all mayors, for all councillors. I think we all recognise that. And I can't speak for other councils or why they've cancelled their events, but that's the reason. I haven't seen any evidence, as was reported today, that it's because of, political reasons or other motivations. I can only say that here at Canterbury-Bankstown, again, we found a COVID-safe way to hold our events, and we'll be doing that. We'll be inviting everybody to come along and celebrate Australia Day along with our other events. I have decided to move our Australia Day awards and citizenship ceremonies onto online ceremony, and I think that's important for people to know. And I've done that because that's in an enclosed space. That's an indoor event, so that's going to be a virtual event. But the outdoor events, I think, can go on if you have a COVID safe plan, and we've been able to achieve that, and we're looking forward to a great day tomorrow.
Yeah, and this business, I heard a statement from Campbelltown Council that, we don't want to contribute to hospitalisations. Well, that's not their job, and they can always tell their most vulnerable in their council area, stay at home. And that would be your advice to people who have, comorbidities or have serious health problems. If you're a little bit overwhelmed by the crowds, stay away and celebrate Australia Day privately, right?
Chris, there's certainly a lot of apprehension about going out and mixing with others that, you don't necessarily aren't part of your family or part of your close network. And I get that, and people are apprehensive. But again, if you're not apprehensive and you want to celebrate the day, you should be able to, I think, go out and enjoy the great day that it is. I mean, it's a national public holiday. We do it to celebrate who we are and where we've come from. And I think it's important that we do that in any way we can, especially considering over the past couple of years, it's been a really tough time for everybody, whether it's small businesses, our elderly, locals. It's really been a hard time with COVID and the pandemic. So to be able to get out, doing it safely in a COVID-safe way, enjoying the day, I think is important. And there are events on the harbour. And I know that after our pool parties, a lot in my community will be going down to the city to watch the fireworks. And that's something that's traditional. We do that, every Australia Day. And I really encourage people to do that because it's important we celebrate Australia Day.